Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. Bitch. Hey guys, what the fuck is up, you guys? My name is emandan642, and I have an abundance of fire sauces from Taco Bell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fuck! Alright, so welcome to a review of Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. Diabolical Box is a sequel to the last game I reviewed, Curious Village. And this is a major step up from that game in all regards. This game is where Professor Layton found its true footing and became what it is today, in my opinion. This game I played a little bit later than all the other Layton games I played as a kid, but it's still very nostalgic to me. It's the same basic premise of Herschel Layton and his apprentice Luke Triton going to solve a mystery, but this time it's a little bit different. This is the first time you get to play in London, which is the only recurring area you go to throughout most of the Layton games. Layton gets a letter from one of his good friends, Andrew Schrader, who recently came into possession with a mysterious box known as the Elysian Box. The mysterious and spooky thing about this box is that it's rumored that everyone who opens it will die. So after reading this letter, Luke and Layton rush to Schrader's office, and what they find is a dead body! So the rumors are true, huh? That the Elysian Box is a murderer. Well, we'll see. So Layton calls the cops, and Inspector Chelmy, along with Police Officer Barton, comes. Quick side note, you don't have to play Curious Village to understand the story of this game, but there are a few characters you may be confused about, such as Inspector Chelmy, Flora, and Don Paolo. Just like in the next scene where Chelmy shows up and Luke assaults him and tries to rip his head off, which if you play Curious Village, you'll understand that Don Paolo dressed up and posed as Chelmy. Well, anyway, after that, Chelmy kicks Luke and Layton out, but before that, they found a ticket to a popular train in London known as the Military Express. So they decided to ride it and see what mysteries await them. The gameplay is largely unchanged from the first game. You tap the screen to go to other areas and to talk to other characters. In Curious Village, every time you tapped on someone, an exclamation point would show up, but in Diabolical Box and onward, that would only show up when someone had a puzzle to solve. So now it's easier to differentiate who had a puzzle to solve and who doesn't. You have the same basic puzzles in this game as you did before, but with some more variation and some more interesting ones. More of them stand out and are more unique. A lot of Curious Village's puzzles I remember just due to nostalgia, not because they were really that interesting. They were, don't get me wrong, but Diabolical Box has such better puzzles. There are more types of puzzles which expand on the already great list from before. Again, there are the 3 optional minigames that you could play, these being the hamster, the camera, and the tea set. You were given this obese hamster with random items given to you by people with puzzles. You can make a hamster walk enough so he is fit and sassy. And this will unlock the animal lover's house in Layton's challenges. And just like the robot dog from Curious Village, he will scour out hint coins for you. Sammy Thunder, the conductor of the Military Express and the owner Beluga's nephew, gives you a camera that he accidentally broke in the hopes that you could fix it. And if you do, you could take pictures. Wow, but you never give it back to him. Once you fix the camera, you can take pictures of 9 specific places and play a Spot the Difference game where you spot the difference. And that will unlock a secret puzzle in each area. Solving all of these puzzles will unlock the musician's house. An old lady gives you a tea set and Dropstone, a small village you visit in the game. With the tea set, you can mix and match different ingredients you pick up to make 12 different tea flavors. In full sense, the town you spend the second half of the game in, 26 people, including Luke and Layton, will start to sweat. They aren't actually sweating, they just look like it. They will be in distress, so you can talk to them and give them the tea set to refresh them. It's a random chance that they will be in distress, so if they aren't, you could just walk in and out of the area until they are in distress, which can be annoying to actually get it to work because you might have to walk in and out and in and out. Doing this will unlock the Tea Master's house. It's not a minigame, but it's the same basic principle as the others. You find a strange diary on the ground in Full Sense, and you find keys to open the pages. Unlike most of the minigames, the diary is actually linked to the plot in some ways. The presentation is a pretty significant upgrade from Curious Village. The graphics are largely the same, but how the game looks is way better. The areas are really nice, and both towns have a good vibe to them. Dropstone being the only town in the entire series that is pretty innocent and not crazy. Miss Hallory from Last Spectre had a calming feeling to it, similar to Dropstone, but it's different, but still nice. The main area of Folsons is great. It has an old-timey type feel, which is part of the lore actually. It has a sad vibe, especially when you know the full story behind it. It's surrounded by this internal darkness. It feels entrapping, like you cannot leave. It's fitting seeing how the only way in and out is riding the Military Express. Plus the music is outstanding. There's a wide variety of emotions in the music. Tracks like Theme of the Diabolical Box, Folsons, and of course, Iris, being very powerful and moving tracks. The soundtrack is really short and so is Curious Village's, but every song is great in this game. For only being on it for 2 chapters, the Military Express is pretty cool to see and explore. Just like Curious Village, in Chapter 1 you are set off to find a missing dog. In this game it feels like much more filler content. In Curious Village, when you search for Claudia, it was one of the main character's cats, but here it's just some random rich bitch snob ladies. At first, you don't know it's a dog and think it's a little boy, but after finding clues, you find out it's a dog. You do get to explore the train in the process, but it seems much more like filler. But it's okay because it doesn't last that long. After that, the train stops because of another broken down train on the tracks. You get out for 5 minutes just to solve one puzzle and then get back on just for nothing to happen. I mean, I like the puzzle you solve when you get off. It's a sliding puzzle and those are my favorites. But this was kind of pointless. After that, you arrive at Dropstone, a small town celebrating its 50th anniversary. There you'll learn about Mr. Anderson and his daughter, Katya. There's not that much else to do in the town, but it's linked to the main plot of the game. The gang gets back on the train, and they are drugged by some flower fumes. When they awake, they arrive in Folsons. I'm getting into spoiler territory, so click where I say to go. Layton reveals Don Paulo, the weird guy from Curious Village who was dressing up as Chilmy, was dressing up as Flora, and that he was the one with the Elysian box all along. Luke and Layton open up the box fearing for their lives, only to find out that it's nothing. Nothing happens to them, and there's nothing in the box. They explore more of the town. They find out the Hertzen family became rich from mining gold, but they also found a precious metal that caused many of the workers to become ill and die. They head to the castle where Anton lives, who is Beluga's brother, as well as the son of the founder of Folsons, Duke Hertzen. In the castle, they meet up with Katya, and Anton believes her to be his fiancée Sophia, who died a year prior to the game, but Katya is actually Anton and Sophia's granddaughter. Layton and Anton have a fight to the death in an amazing cutscene. You really feel Anton's pain here, and when he screams out Layton's name, it always manages to send shivers down my spine. And topped off with the amazing Theme of the Diabolical Box song. It's a masterpiece. This scene is one of my favorite scenes in the series. Katya reveals to Anton that his youth is just an illusion. Layton explains that 50 years ago the miners accidentally uncovered a veil of hallucinogenic gas that everyone there is breathing in, and they are seeing the town and people and Anton himself how it was 50 years ago. The materials that the illusion box was made out of had traces of these gases, which whenever someone opened it, they would be killed, which is what started the rumors. Katya tells Anton that Sophia was pregnant with Katya's mother, and that's why Sophia left, because she thought that town would be too dangerous to raise a child in. Anton sent the Elysian box to Sophia with a letter detailing his love for her in it, but because of the value of the box, it was stolen time and time again. As it turns out, it did make it to her, and there was another letter from Sophia in the box. This game has a great story, and it's a close call between this game and Unknown Future for story. The only problems I have is Don Paulo, who I really do like, but he's barely in the game. He shows up for like 5 minutes then dips. I was disappointed when he was barely in Curious Village because I do remember him being in the game more, but at least he came back at near the end for a kinda weak attempt to kill Layton, but he will get his redemption in the next game. Also, it's not really an issue, but it's a little odd that this is the second story about a fake town, I guess. First, St. Mystere was filled with robots, and now Folsons was abandoned 50 years ago, and what we're seeing is only a false sense, get it? But it's not really an issue. I really like Folsons' story. Luke and Layton ride the Military Express back to London, and as it turns out, Andrew Schrader was only in a coma, and he made a full recovery. Diabolical Box is a much needed improvement with a compelling story and many compelling characters, beautiful locations, and beautiful music. This is an excellent game all around. The only major issue is the lack of replayability that was present in Curious Village, but the first experience is amazing, and still playing it after a few years of not playing it, it's still amazing. I am going to give Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box a 9 out of 10. This game is just amazing. It holds up surprisingly well. I play this game just to experience the story. That's how good it is. This story is just that good. It's so fucking good. This game is on mobile for $9.99, so I think everyone should play this game. It's amazing. Unless you wouldn't like the game. This has been Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box. Fuck you.